Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today in week 3 of the book club for the 90 Day Soulmate Plan, my book that I recently published. I'm so glad you can join us. This is week 3 of 13 weeks, so 90 days. The goal is to help you get soulmate ready and create the conditions for love, lasting, healthy love to manifest in your life. And I truly believe that if you follow this book, do all the exercises, the rituals, you will begin to move into alignment and attract your soulmate. Of course, it's up to divine timing and it's up to you to continue to do the work in dating and loving yourself, investing in your love life in the different ways you need to. But at the end of the day, just following this book will, get you soulmate ready. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a 10-minute mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness and meditation are both so important for helping you slow down, become present, get in touch with your feminine side, your intuitive side, and just, begin to create the conditions for releasing wounds and blocks that no longer serve you and move into a state of joy, of pleasure. There's really been nothing else for me except for mindfulness that's really, really helped me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's my one tool that I can come back to whenever I'm feeling discombobulated or frustrated or scared or confused. Just close the door, sit down and meditate, sit in silence and focus on my breath for 10 minutes. Okay. So that's how we're going to start right now. I have a bell and I'm going to be guiding us through a practice that I learned through the Thich Nhat Hanh teachings and community, the tradition, the Plum Village tradition. So I invite you to close your eyes, get present, close any apps if you need to, and straighten your back, soften your jaw, close your eyes, and together let's inhale and exhale. And together let's take another inhale, filling up your heart, your chest, your lungs. And exhale. And together, let's take one last long inhale, filling up your whole body with white light. And exhale. So I'm going to ring the bell 3 times to begin our silent meditation, guided meditation. Breathing in, I notice my in-breath. Breathing out, I observe, notice my out-breath. In, out. Breathing in, I notice the sounds around me. Breathing out, I observe these sounds and then bring my attention back to my breath. In, out. Breathing in, I notice my thoughts lying over me like clouds. Breathing out, I observe them and then bring my attention back to my breath. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to the base of my spine, to the pelvic floor, the root chakra. Breathing out, I notice any sensations arising, and I love and accept what is. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to the sexual chakra, which is between my navel and my pelvic floor. I notice any sensations and feelings arising. Breathing out, I love, accept, and forgive any feelings or sensations that I have. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to the solar plexus, the area around my belly. I notice any sensations, feelings arising. Breathing out, I offer myself love, acceptance, and forgiveness for any sensations arising. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to my heart and notice any sensations and feelings arising. Breathing out, I love, accept, and forgive myself for any of these feelings and sensations that are arising. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to my throat chakra. I observe any sensations and feelings arising. Breathing out, I offer myself love, acceptance, and forgiveness for any feelings and sensations arising in my throat. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to my forehead, my third eye. I notice any feelings and sensations arising. Breathing out, I offer myself love, acceptance, and forgiveness for any feelings and sensations arising around my third eye. In, out. Breathing in, I bring my attention to the top of my head, my crown chakra. I observe any feelings and sensations arising. Breathing out, I offer myself love, acceptance, and forgiveness for any feelings and sensations arising. In, out. Breathing in, I'm aware that this is the present moment. Breathing out, this is a magical moment. In, out. May I be happy. May I be peace. May I be free from suffering. May my loved ones be happy. May my loved ones be peace. May they be free from suffering. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peace. May all beings be free from suffering. Thank you. You can slowly open your eyes, offer yourself gratitude for being here, showing up for yourself, showing up for your love life, whether you're watching this live or on replay. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're in week 3. We're going to be talking about the last pillar of self-love, which is all about becoming a love magnet through loving yourself. And I've really seen this. Women and men who learn how to love themselves on every level, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, they begin to draw in love and abundance magnetically. Okay. And that's my intention for you, is to learn how to magnetize the kind of love that you deserve, because it's already flowing. Love is already flowing. All we're trying to do is invite it into our lives and stop the blocks from, blocking our path to love, to receiving love, the healthy love that wants to flow to us. And we start with self love. So today we're going to go to page 109 in the book, Physical Well-Being, Designing a Lifestyle That Honors Your Body and Soul's Needs. I once dated a man whom I really had the hots for. Yet there was a moment when things became clear to me why we couldn't be together. When I looked down at his feet, the bottom of his feet had calluses and cuts, and he hadn't cut his toenails. I then visited his apartment, and it felt half lived in, with clothes strewn everywhere, and his bathroom was dirty. He told me his mom and sisters lived down the street and that he was so close to them that he basically ate his meals there. This man was smart, handsome, and sweet, and struggled with boundaries and self care. And given that I was starting to spend a great deal of time loving myself and honoring my body's needs, we weren't on the same wavelength. Okay. So this used to be me, actually. He's a mirror to what I didn't want to attract anymore into my life. But when I was single, I ate out all the time. My apartment was dirty. My bathroom was dirty. I remember I once had a gathering at my place, and I was like, oh my God, my place is so dirty. I'm so embarrassed. I wasn't really showing those signs of self love, even though I could pretend to show it. When I was dating, I always looked put together. I, I seemed available, smart, witty, engaged, but inside I was struggling with self-care. I had no boundaries. I struggled with feeding myself nourishing food, and I was always overworked and exhausted and depleted. I really didn't have anything to offer in a relationship because my own physical well-being wasn't being taken care of. Okay. In fact, I realized that he likely couldn't really offer me anything substantive in a relationship because he could barely take care of his own needs. When we dated, it showed. He would flake out on our dates and made it difficult to pin him down. Have you been in those situations with men? I was growing into a radiant, healthy woman, and I wasn't interested in another project. I was proud of myself for not taking his behavior personally, and after a few dates, I ended it. And that's key too, right? Like, just because a guy isn't meeting your expectations, he's flaking out on you, he's not available, his lifestyle isn't supportive of him being in a relationship, you don't have to take it personally. Just let it go, because all it takes is the one, right? We're all on our own individual paths of learning and growth. And each guy is on his own. So you don't have to mold some guy to be yours. If he's not showing up for you, if he's not able to take care of himself, if he's such a workaholic that he can barely show up for himself, let alone a partner, then you don't have to try to fix that. You don't have to adapt yourself to fit into his lifestyle. Okay. Think about the men you've dated in the past. Were they reliable, self sufficient, had healthy boundaries, or did they work insane hours and eat out every day? Were they emotionally available, open hearted, and could you imagine living a healthy, fulfilling life with them? If I were honest, most of the guys I dated didn't fit that category. And probably the few guys that did have that balanced lifestyle, I don't know, I wasn't attracted to them at that time. So, love goddess, here's the thing. If your lifestyle is healthy, balanced, and full of self care, then inevitably you will attract a man that's also focused on well being. In fact, you will become a magnet for grounded, mature men who will honor and treat you like a goddess, because that's how you treat yourself. The way you live your life with healthy boundaries and with people and activities that nourish you will set the stage for greater love in your life. If you're living in survival mode, can you imagine thriving with someone else? You can't. You and your body deserve better. And really, that's what true love is about. It's about thriving. It's not just about surviving. It's not just about finding comfort in someone else and just living a mediocre life. No, like an evolutionary, healthy, loving relationship is one based on well being, supporting each other in living our best lives. I mean, when I receive uh, questionnaire responses from potential clients, they all want a partner who's supporting them and being their best selves. But you've got to live that best life first yourself. And in this section, I'm going to be talking about how you can just begin to do that. All you have to do is just begin to live your best life. You don't have to take 100 steps forward, just 5 steps forward will align you with the kind of lifestyle that you want to lead, and you're going to attract a partner that's going to support you in living that lifestyle. I've seen it over and over with my clients. I have one client right now who's snowboarding with her partner in Miami because that's what she wanted to do. That was the kind of lifestyle that she wanted to create for herself. She hadn't given herself the permission to do it before, but now she is. And they both are Boston residents, and now they're snowbirding in Miami for 3 months. I have another client who met a guy online who's a yogi. Like, she hadn't been seeing these guys before online, but she somehow like manifested meeting this person who's interested in healthy eating. And he's not perfect, and neither is she, but they work together to create a loving, healthy relationship. And they just got married last week. And so, this is what's possible for you when you start taking those steps in your life. You just start radiating and aligning with healthy, emotional men. It's a law of attraction principle. Okay. So, what does it look like to have a lifestyle that promotes a loving, thriving relationship with yourself? How can you begin to form habits and rituals that release toxic patterns and promote your well being and for those around you? So, that's what we're going to be covering. Okay. The first section is around boundaries. So many people struggle with boundaries. I mean, many of us haven't even heard of what boundaries are until it's too late, right? Like, we're much later in our lives. We have partners, kids, and we're just drained by all our relationships. Okay. So do you find yourself fixated on whether your boss likes your work, wondering whether you're doing enough for your parents or your job, or in general feeling guilty, overwhelmed, or exhausted? Are you in a draining relationship with a friend or an ex? When you're in a relationship, do you find yourself overgiving to the point of losing yourself or wondering what you really want anyways? Boundary setting is a huge challenge for most people. Both men and women struggle with it for different reasons. For millennia, women have been asked to give up everything of their own to take care of others. Women got married and became mothers at a young age, never getting a chance to discover what kind of life keeps their spirits elevated and allows them to express their individuality. So this is, really interesting. I mean, like, until now, until our generation, a lot of people didn't have a chance to practice healthy boundary setting. It just, you got married young, you had children young, you moved from life stage to life stage, sort of not very consciously. But our generation, we have this opportunity to consciously create the life that we want, to consciously create boundaries with people so that we can have healthy, interdependent relationships, not codependent relationships. Okay. Um, what if you could create your life so that you had plenty of time for fun and activities that light up your soul, and you could let go of people or activities that sap your energy? Wouldn't that feel rejuvenating and freeing? To me, that's what love is. It's freedom. It's about, you and your partner feeling free around each other. That's what attracted Christian and I together. It was this idea of experiencing freedom and joy together and not controlling each other, not overgiving or fixing or, all of those things. It's like an experiment around interdependence, being there for each other, but not losing ourselves in the relationship, almost thinking of ourselves as a healthy ecosystem. And we're trying to create that with our children as well, and my parents are staying with us now. We live next door to my in-laws. Like we have this whole community set up now. And it's all about interdependence. It's all about honoring each other's boundaries, respecting each other, having consideration for others, communicating your feelings and your needs with each other, holding space sometimes. And it first starts with yourself. Okay. So I give some tips on page 112 how to deal with work, like how to deal with, if you're a workaholic or you have a demanding work schedule. A lot of my clients are consultants or they have very busy careers, and it's really hard for them to extricate themselves from work and start to create time and space for love. And what I've really found is that our careers have a way of getting in the way of our love life, which really is the most vital part of our life. Okay. I talk about, moving from a partnership path at work to a life partner path in your personal life, right? Having both, maybe. So, in order to be able to have it all, love, career, family, fulfillment, you have to be able to have boundaries between each area of your life so that you can nourish each part of your life. And your love life really deserves that. You have to carve out the time and space for your love life. Okay. And so, I give tips on like how to energetically navigate, a demanding job, how to ask your boss for time and space, how to start taking breaks during the day. That's what I used to do. I used to work on Wall Street. And what I would do is around lunchtime, I would just go out to a garden close by and just eat mindfully, walk mindfully around the garden. It was my time of rejuvenation. And surprisingly, on Wall Street, there were a couple of churches. There was a Trinity Church and one or two more churches, and I would just go and sit and meditate in a church during my workday. I gave myself the permission to do that. So you can invent the kind of working lifestyle that you want. It might take time. You might have to take baby steps. Maybe on Tuesday evenings you sign up for a yoga class, so you have to leave work by 5:30, right? Maybe you tell your colleagues or your teammates that you don't answer emails after 6 p.m., right? You need to set those boundaries. And the more you respect your own boundaries, the more others will respect it too. And, fortunately or unfortunately, you might actually end up realizing that you're in a toxic work situation, which doesn't support you in having healthy boundaries. And in that case, you might have to leave. But first, you need to take those steps for yourself. That's the first step of being your own parent, you know. All right. On page 113, I talk about how to let go of people who don't resonate with you. You are the sum average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, is a quote famously attributed to motivational speaker Jim Rohn. Take a look at your friends and the people you interact with. Who are the people that surround you? Are they loving, kind, and inspiring, or do they rile you up in some way? As you examine your circle, ask yourself for each. Does spending time with this person drain me or energize me? This is really important. You want to create a life in which you're nourished, you're energized. So just consciously start looking at the people around you, your friends, your colleagues, your parents, whatever, and ask, like, do they energize and drain me? And if they drain you, then you have a chance to slowly start releasing these ties from your life. You don't have to release them fully, but at least start setting healthy boundaries. Okay. You can either do it energetically, like you can just kind of, sometimes I practice Ho'oponopono, which is I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. I even, maybe set boundaries like talking to a friend an hour a month, if that's what serves you, you think. But you still want to keep in touch with this person. If you talk to your parents every day, maybe talk to them once a week. If that's what feels good to you, like you need to figure out what resonates for your soul, what nourishes yourself. Okay. And sometimes you have to be firm. If someone is constantly um, being aggressive with you, overstepping your needs for boundaries, for your privacy, then you've got to tell them. You've got to communicate your feelings and needs in a compassionate way. Okay. I have a process called cutting cords, and that is something that I explain in the next chapter, but cord cutting is something you can do as well. Okay. On page 114, I talk about releasing codependent or toxic relationships. A lot of times we don't realize that we're in a toxic relationship with someone, and so many of my clients, they have like this codependent relationship with a parent. They don't even realize it. And they have no emotional energy for a relationship. So if you have a toxic parent, if you have a toxic boss or colleagues, recognize it. There's nothing you can do to fix that situation necessarily. You just have to start setting healthy boundaries. I talk about in page 114 how to start slowly releasing these codependent and toxic relationships. I recently read a disturbing statistic. We spend nearly 90% of our energy on toxic relationships, according to Dr. Ramani Durvashala, who's a psychologist and narcissism expert. If you're struggling with someone who's a narcissist in your life, I really advise you to check her out. She's got so many videos on narcissism, and, just really powerful tips. The other resource here is this book called The Language of Letting Go, Daily Meditations for Codependence. I love this book. I don't have any, thankfully, I don't have any toxic relationships in my life right now, but I still find these daily meditations so powerful on how to slowly start creating this healthy lifestyle for yourself, setting boundaries, saying no to things in a very, kind of just small daily doses. Okay. On the positive side, I have seen that having a toxic parent or partner might be a part of your spiritual growth. It may point to important lessons, spiritual blocks, and skills you need to learn about yourself and your style of relating. Some of the most compassionate, emotionally aware people have had a toxic parent. It's so true. So many of my clients, they have like one really kind parent and one toxic parent. It's like a pattern. And so if you did have a toxic parent, you might actually, they might be your greatest teacher. I mean, I don't want to downplay the suffering that you've experienced in that relationship growing up or even in your current life, right? But just recognize that that actually might be part of your gift in relating. You're learning how to navigate difficult people. We all need to learn that skill, by the way. I've noticed that that's one of our relationship skills that we're meant to learn is how to navigate difficult people and challenges in relationships. And a toxic relationship can teach you that. Okay. The power of Ho'oponopono. I love this prayer. It's on page 115. It's a very simple prayer. It's I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. Okay. I love using the Hawaiian practice called Ho'oponopono. This is a profound practice that can be used for any situation that triggers you. in Hawaii, a therapist, Dr. Hugh Len, cured an entire ward of criminally insane people just by using Ho'oponopono. You should check the story out. Look it up online about how this one psychiatrist, he just looked up pictures of criminally insane people and he just practiced, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. So powerful. It's energetic. It's an energetic and spiritual principle that means that, if there's something in our life that that we're triggered by, that we judge, then we somehow help create that. We're all in this web of life together, and we've co-created this life together. We've even co-created our own lives, the suffering in our lives, and the suffering in other people's lives unconsciously. We're all in this unconscious soup of life. And so now we're just starting to bring awareness to how we might have caused pain and suffering to others. Maybe just even by paying taxes into a system that hurts certain people. So the way we don't need to go out and fix it. All we need to do is just practice. I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. I really find that the practice of prayer is so powerful. Okay. Now, if there's someone that you believe that you've hurt, then I practice, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, please forgive me, over and over. Or if it's someone who's hurt you, you could practice, I accept you, I love you, I forgive you. I use this prayer a lot too. If there's someone who's annoying me, a parent, a sibling, a client, or whatever, I just practice, I accept you, I love you, I forgive you. It helps soften my anger, my contempt, which is really important. Okay. All right. How's everyone doing? Any questions? Just taking a pause right here. Oh, good. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for being here. Really means a lot to me. Okay. Now we're going to go to page 116. I love this activity. It's something that my husband, oh, me too. Thank you. It's something that Christian learned from, I believe, the Dalai Lama. It's a very simple exercise. It's called Infusing My Life with Happiness. And you make two lists. One list is things that drain me or make me unhappy, and I want to do less of. For example, speaking without thinking. Oh my God, I used to do that all the time. So yeah, spending time with negative people who drain me, etc. And number two is things that make me happy or energize me that you want to do more of. So come up with your list and just have them there. Just observe like what you want to start and what you want to stop, and slowly start incorporating these into your life. You're going to see that your life is going to start aligning in an energizing way. Okay. Now on page 117, we're going to talk about the 5 A's of love. I think the 5 A's of love are perfect in how they encapsulate how to love yourself. So beautiful. And I learned about it from a book that Thich Nhat Hanh wrote called True Love, which I highly recommend. He talks about the 4 A's of love. I added a 5th A to it. And when you practice these 5 A's, which are affection, attention, appreciation, acceptance, and approval, when you practice them for yourself, you start to attract people who will do the same to you. It's like you're creating your own love manual, like how you want to be loved. That's what these 5 help you do. Okay. And you'll start noticing that that's how you're going to start treating other people too. It's as within, so without. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of offer it like a meditation. So what I invite you to do is close your eyes and, and I'm going to go through the 5 A's. Okay. Now, the first A, so I invite you to close your eyes and giving yourself attention. The first A is attention. Take the time to give your body attention, asking her for what she needs. As a mother would take care of her child, ask the child, darling, what are you needing? Do you need rest? Do you need to sleep? Do you want to cry? Do you want to play? What kind of food will nourish your body? You can play with your hair, caressing your arms, calling yourself sweetheart. That's what your body wants from you. She doesn't want to be abandoned anymore. She wants you to know that you're there for her always as a mother, lover, sister, father. What foods will nourish your body? What kind of exercise and rest will soothe your nervous system? What relationships or activities energize you versus drain you? So just take a moment to be in tune with your body, offering your body attention, taking all the time in the world as if nothing else matters. Okay? What are the other ways you can offer yourself attention? Just just imagine yourself offering attention to another person or to a child. Bring that same level of attention to yourself. In our world today, we really struggle with an attention deficit. I remember this one coach I was listening to, her whole thing was around attention deficit and how children today just feel like they receive so little attention from their parents that they start having to find it from their peers. This is what psychologist Gabor Mate talks about how youth today turn to their peers, drugs, alcohol, etc., to fulfill that attention gap. And we as individuals really struggle with lack of attention, which is what makes coaching so powerful. Coaching, therapy, any other kind of one on one resource that you can offer to yourself, because you need attention. Okay. Now, the next A that I'm going to talk about is acceptance. This one's really powerful. One of our deepest pains is that we feel like we're not accepted for who we are. Yet, the biggest challenge and roadblock to love that we face is our own lack of self acceptance. It's like we're in constant denial of our needs, choices, our appearance, or our situation. What if you were to radically accept yourself for who you are, your choices, your parents, your siblings, your job situation? What if you can accept that the world around you is perfect as it is? Okay. So just practice I accept. I accept my job. I accept my parents. I accept my relationship situation. I accept my body. I accept my choices. I accept how I'm feeling right now. In the meditation today, we started with going through the 7 chakras and noticing the feelings, the sensations arising, and practicing self acceptance, self forgiveness, self love. It's really important. Okay. So just because you're accepting yourself in your life doesn't mean that you're just simply content with mediocrity. No. Change and transformation can only happen when you first radically accept yourself. For me, I find that self acceptance is pretty much like my spiritual journey, learning to really love and accept myself for everything, mistakes I've made, things that I said that were wrong, ways that I've hurt people, even for, showing up to today's call and feeling, like rushing to get here, just practicing self-acceptance. It's a constant practice. I accept. Okay. Even having uncertainty in your life, going through a breakup, a getting let go from your job, learning to accept yourself through all of it is is what's uh, transformational. Okay? We're always striving to achieve more because of our not enoughness. And it shows up in our relationships. Our not enoughness is what slowly corrodes our relationships. It makes us less magnetic because we're ashamed of ourselves. Okay. Shame is actually the opposite of magnetism. It's shame brings down your energy, whereas like having radical acceptance of yourself actually magnetizes you. It makes you radiant. Okay. So if there's something that you can take away from our call today, it's really learning to radically accept yourself and practice it consciously. Okay. The third A is appreciation. Whatever you appreciate, appreciates. Sometimes it's easier to appreciate others, but how about bringing appreciation to yourself? Okay. The more you appreciate yourself, your amazing qualities, the more these qualities are going to bloom. Okay. And, I remember doing something with my workplace. I think the workplace is a great place to practice some of these things, especially when you're single, because you get feedback from the people around you. There was this one time when I felt like my boss wasn't appreciating me enough, and I started to feel angry towards her. And then what I did was I said, okay, well, first I'm going to appreciate myself. I appreciate, so I was looking at the different things I was doing. I was like, oh, wow, I appreciate this presentation I created. I appreciate how smart I am. I appreciate how, diligent I am. I appreciate how intuitive I am, how I hold space for other people. Like I just started naming all these ways that I appreciated myself. And you're not going to believe this. My boss called me in the next day and she was like, Sarika, I just want to let you know, I really appreciate the work you've been doing. Okay. It's amazing how the universe begins to respond to you when you start taking radical self love steps in your life. Okay. So, right now, as you're closing your eyes, think of things that you can appreciate about yourself, your traits, your generosity. I appreciate my generosity. I appreciate my wisdom. I appreciate how wonderful a cook I am. I appreciate what an amazing partner I am, how loving and kind I am, that I'm able to hold space for others. I appreciate that I'm always seeking to be a better person, that I'm a wise, curious soul. So just go on, spend today just practicing. I appreciate. I appreciate this about myself. I appreciate that about myself. And you'll see you're going to start glowing and people are going to appreciate you for those same qualities. It's amazing. Okay. The fourth A is affection. And this one is probably one of the most important physical steps you can take for yourself. Okay. Your inner child craves for love and affection. Studies have shown that newborns need to be held in order to survive. And on average, a person needs 7 hugs a day to thrive. How can you offer yourself affection the way a parent or grandparent does with a child? So, some ways, and I learned this through uh, being with Buddhist monks. They were talking, especially with the Thich Nhat Hanh tradition, learning to caress yourself like this, just caressing yourself. If you're going through a hard time, hugging and caressing yourself, playing with your hair. I sleep with my hand and my 2 hands, one on my heart, one on my belly, just to offer myself love this way. Your hands have healing power. Um, treat yourself to ice cream, take walks in nature on the beach, like do things that really make your body feel like you're being affectionate towards her. Self pleasure is important. Um, cook yourself a romantic dinner, take yourself out on dates. Okay. So it's really funny. I always wanted to be with an affectionate man. And I remember not last, but yeah, like one of the relationships I was in, it was with a guy that so busy with work. He was like a very successful banker. And I just craved affection from him. And my sister once pointed that out. She was like, Sarika, you need to be with an affectionate man. And yet the guys I was attracting weren't affectionate. And now I'm married to such an affectionate man. I mean, this is like what makes him so, like, just so lovable. I mean, he's so affectionate with me, sometimes overly like affectionate. And I know that I attracted him because I had learned to become affectionate with myself, and I'm very affectionate with him too. Okay. Approval. So this is the last A, and this one is the one that I added, approval. Learning to approve of yourself. Okay. When you were born, you needed the approval of your parents to survive. Over time, the love you received may have seemed conditional from others because your parents might not have approved of all of your actions. You learn to behave in a way as to seek approval from others to survive. Over time, you become conditioned to seek approval from your teachers, friends, lovers, to the point of it just becoming normal. And this is really important. I mean, most of us are approval seeking. It's just ingrained in our nature. And when you're approval seeking, when you're constantly seeking approval from everyone else, then you're not going to live an authentic life. You're not going to be able to thrive in a relationship because you're just stuck in seeking approval. Okay? You lose yourself that way in relationships. You end up doing things that go against the grain of your soul when you're seeking approval from others. So the way to reverse this programming, it really is like programming, survival programming, is to begin to approve of yourself. Just radically approve of all the choices you've made in your life, your relationship status, your body. I approve. I approve of who how I'm talking today. I approve of this book I've written. I approve of the choices I've made till now. I approve of my relationship choice. I approve of my body. I approve, even though, sometimes I feel like I'm eating unhealthy. I approve. I approve of how I've been eating. I approve of my education. I approve. So it's important to just approve of yourself fully, even for mistakes that you've made or choices that you made that were unconscious or whatever. Because what happens is that when you approve of yourself, it's like the sun. The sun is always radiating, and everything thrives under the sun because the sun is ever present. And that's the same thing with approval. Approval is like our sun. Okay, we need approval to survive, to thrive, but our job is to now orient that approval towards ourselves. Okay. There are no wrong choices. Your path is self correcting always. You can trust that if your intention is clear and pure, no matter what choice you make, you will reach where you need to. There are no coincidences, and we shape our reality through our intentions. We're here to discover new truths, experience adventure, and have amazing experiences. I mean, a range of experiences from heartbreak to ecstasy. Approve of all your zany choices, even if they don't make sense. Okay? So these are the 5 A's. You can slowly come back to the present moment, open your eyes if your eyes were closed, and see if you can practice these 5 A's. The exercises I've provided is, put on some sensual music and just begin journaling. How can you practice these 5 A's for yourself? Okay. And then maybe pick one of these A's every day in your life and practice it for yourself. Okay. The final step. So the final piece that I'm going to be talking about is opening your heart to receiving love. So part of physical well-being is about living a life of love and alignment. And the last piece is around receiving love in a healthy way. It's important to not only give love, but receive love. And I notice that a lot of women struggle with receiving love. Okay. So page 123. There is so much love flowing to you every day, but the issue is that you're not ready to receive it, even the healthy love. You have been so conditioned to think of love in a specific way, romantic love with a desirable partner. You find it hard to receive love unless it's been okayed by your ego. You want to be loved in a certain way, and when you don't get that, you shut down or become defensive. The thing is, it's not your fault. There's been thousands of years of conditioning that's prevented women from seeking pleasure and receiving love. How many times have you seen your mother or grandmother simply receive love with grace and ease or bask in pleasure? Very few women till now have allowed themselves to ask and to receive, and instead find themselves overworked and constantly caring for others while fighting for validation and approval. Most of us feel undeserving and unworthy of love, which creates a barrier to receiving love because they doubt it. So just take a moment and meditate on what do I feel when I receive? Okay. Do you feel embarrassed, self-conscious, or afraid? Do you feel a burning sensation in your heart or a twist in your gut? Does your body shut down? Do you feel hurt or angry? Do you feel a sense of ease and pleasure? Be with whatever sensation arises and breathe through it, honoring it. So, this is a meditation you can do, you know, maybe for the next week or something. Just take a moment to just say, okay, I'd like to receive love, unconditional love in my life, and just feel what physical sensations are coming up. What does it feel like to receive unconditional love in your life? What are the blocks showing up? Just be there for them. Breathe through it. Okay. When someone compliments you, just say thank you. You don't have to explain anything. Just say thank you. Okay. Allow people to open the door for you. Um, you know, see if you can receive compliments with grace. Okay. So receiving love is also a practice. Okay. So we've, reached the end of this week's book club for the 90 Day Soulmate Plan. I'm so glad that you're here. You've completed, if you have come this far, you've completed step 1 of becoming a love magnet through self-love. I'm curious as to if you've seen any shifts in your life already just by reading this chapter together. If you have, I'd love to hear from you. You can write comments below. And I look forward to continuing onto the next step with you, which is closing your heart. I'm sorry, it's step 2, heal your heart and close your X files. Okay. So we've created the foundation, the self-love foundation for us to be able to do the next piece, which is about clearing all those blocks that no longer serve you. And we're just going to do it step by step. You don't need years of therapy. Just do the steps and the rituals in the book, and you're going to find that you're going to be baggage free by the end of it. Okay. Or at least you're going to be stepping into becoming baggage free, which is something you deserve. Okay. So, thank you for joining me today. Wishing you a blessed, blessed day and week. Wishing you lots of love and abundance and happiness in your life. Thank you.